Greetings and salutations. This is Mr. Case, and this is 33.4C. 33.4C. The Cold War has spread from Europe to the Western Hemisphere. We saw it with Cuba. We see it with Nicaragua. Then we're going to see today how the Cold War is fought in places like the Middle East, specifically Iran. Okay. The Shah Reza Pahlavi, better known as Iran's ruler, supported Western policy, yet ruled his nation brutally. The Shah of Iran, he's the ruler, he supported Western policy, he's a friend of the United States, yet he's going to rule his nation very brutally, almost like a dictator. Muslim radicals opposed the Shah. And toppled him from power in 1979. They toppled him from power in 1979. As a friend of the United States, the Shah would sell us cheap oil. Those days are gone. When he gets kicked out of Iran, he comes over to the United States to live, and he has pancreatic cancer, so he's being treated at the Mayo Clinic in Minneapolis for this cancer. So he and his family come over and spend the rest of their lives. Of course, the Iranian people are demanding him back to stand trial for crimes against their people. And he's not coming back, and the United States is not going to give him up. Coming into power is a Muslim leader, Ayatollah Khomeini. The Ayatollah means a spiritual leader. His name was Khomeini. The last name is Khomeini. He's a conservative Muslim leader in exile. That means for many years he could not live in Iran because he was afraid of getting arrested by the Shah, because he did not like the Shah and openly denounced him. He returns to rule Iran. I want to show you a picture of the Shah here. Shah Reza Pahlavi, friend of the United States. You can see he's a very impressive dude, very wealthy with oil wealth. And then this 90-year-old leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, who actually lived in Paris, France, and would send quite a few tapes back to Iran to stir up revolutionary fervor and to advocate for overthrowing the Shah. When the Shah finally left, the Ayatollah flew to Iran and took over as a spiritual ruler. It's at this time the radicals, Iranian radicals under Khomeini, seized the U.S. embassy. They seized the U.S. embassy, and they take 60 hostages from the U.S. embassy for 444 days. 60 hostages for 444 days. It seemed just over a year and nothing happens that we would never get these people back, but eventually they did give them up. Export of revolution led to Iraq, IRAQ, Iraq being next door to Iran, going to war with Iran. Export of revolution led to Iraq going to war with Iran. So you've got the Ayatollah Khomeini going against Saddam Hussein. And the United States secretly arms both sides. They secretly send weapons to both sides. They made money off of it, and they were actually negotiating with terrorists to get the hostages back, supposedly. Let's turn our attention to Afghanistan, landlocked country north of Pakistan. Afghanistan was invaded by the USSR in 1979. They were invaded by the USSR to prop up a pro-Marxist regime. Or government. REGIME. So the Soviet Union was friends of this pro-Marxist government that was coming in. Those that did not like that type of government went up into the hills. They were called Mujahideen. You can see the spelling there, Mujahideen. That means holy warriors for Islam. These rebels resist Soviets from mountain hideouts. They resist Soviets from mountain hideouts. And the Mujahideen was actually supported by a Saudi Arabian national by the name of Osama bin Laden. He was a millionaire, and he spent quite a bit of his fortune to help arm these rebels. So for a time, the United States was a friend of the Mujahideen. The U.S. arms rebels through Pakistan. They arm these rebels, these Mujahideen, from Pakistan. So as these warriors come across to Pakistan, they could get grenades, rocket launchers, machine guns, medicine, food, clothing, and then go back to Afghanistan and fight this war against the Soviets. Since they did not like the Soviets, the United States was their friend. So as screwy as it sounds, for a while, the United States helped Osama bin Laden in his fight against the Soviets in Afghanistan. Kind of strange. The United States boycotts the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow in protest. They boycott the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow in protest. And they also cancel grain shipments to USSR. They cancel grain shipments to the USSR. The Soviets were a good customer of buying our grain, but no more. And finally, the USSR withdraws their troops from Afghanistan in 1989. The USSR withdraws their troops by 1989 from Afghanistan. Well, lots been going on, but this is the end of chapter 33.4C. This is Mr. Case. I'm out.